everyone, welcome back. I hope you are in for a new DIY inspiration. And of course, we are still in the 4th of July season. So we're going to make something patriotic decor. So I hope you enjoyed it, but you always can change it up. So don't worry if you don't like the 4th of July DIYs. Doesn't matter, every DIY you can turn into your own home decor if you don't like the red, white and blue. What we are going to use the smaller tumbling tile blocks. We have our container with everything inside. Just make your own container, which is so easy. You can place it anywhere you like. But the most important is, of course, the wood glue. You can use some hot glue, but be careful that it doesn't break. I have here some paint, and of course I have my 3 colors, but choose any color you like. I have here my saucer with an old piece of kitchen towel, which is wet to wipe away the glue. And before I forget to tell you, if you are new here and you see me for the first time, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see also, and I hope you take out your tumbler towel blocks to enjoy me. So we are going to start with, because we are going to make a kind of a 4th of July door. So we will see how this will turn out. Of course, we're going to do 6 rows of 8, 6 rows of 8. So we lay them flat on our table, and we just do some glue on the smallest side, and we just row them very easy this way together. And I know now that a lot of you have also the blank color blocks and the brown color blocks. So, and a lot of you say that it's difficult to color them, and I think that is also, if you were doing this at least for the 4th of July and you make it in a dark blue, then it's a little bit easier to work with. And of course, we only have, I don't know what is, because we only have this color wood. We don't have the 2 colors. But I like also a little bit of the 2 coloring tones, but that's not everyone's cup of tea. So, like you, a lot of you tell, it's difficult to work that away. So maybe you can find somewhere also the plain color wood. So again, we have now already a number 5, and we have now row number 6 over here, and this will be the last row, and we are going to squeeze them together from the inside to the outside, and this way. Be careful before you give the ending a press on the side. Be sure that you have the inside glued nicely together, or else everything will jump out. Over here, squeeze it. And this way, and don't worry, I only do this one together this way with you, at least the squeezing. And we're going to press it from the side. Also, you see already he wants to pop up. And again, always press it together, and at the end, give it some pressure to the side. And you do here the same, over here, and this way. And now I'm going to get my wet towel, and of course you see already, it really is an old one. You see, but he is so nice to work with. I always say, the older the pieces, the better the cleaning will be, because I love that it is really old. And of course, I'm going to do it fast, place it straight up, clean up the back side, and again, place it over here and do the back side also. Do it fast, place it straight up. Don't hesitate, because then it will go out of each other. Always do it fast. And clean up your mat and turn it over this way. Always go back and make a straight line. And of course, if you have a carpenter square, you don't have this problem. So again, clean up the top side and over here. And then we're going to do here the same. Place it straight up. Oh, and we clean up our mat, turn it over and do it this way. And this side also. So there you are again. I lost you. You were gone. But I was looking back at my video. But what I was trying to say when we started with the white and the brown blocks is could you let me know how you are working with it? If you do you paint them first? Do you sand them first? Or what do you do when you're going to make it work? Because it's really are contrasting colors, brown and white, at least this color and the brown color. Do you work that with them, or do you place them aside and do only the one color of the blocks? Would you let me know in the comments down below? So what we're going to do, I gave it a couple of minutes and I'm going to turn them this way and this way. What we're going to do, we're going to do some glue on this side over here, and we do some glue on this side, and we're going to place it down over here, and we place it over here. We're going to turn it and make sure that we squeeze nicely and gently all of them together until one piece, and fill in the open gaps as much as we can. I see here a little open gap and I'm going to squeeze. I did wait a little bit too long before I'm going to glue them. So I'm going to do some glue over here, and on this one a little line on each block, some glue, place it down and place it down, and then we're going to squeeze it again, the same like we did with the first one. Everything has to connect together with each other. So, and now we're going to wipe away the glue and we're going to give it a couple of minutes rest. So we placed our 2 planks on the side. We have now 3 rows of 3, because there will be the top, the middle and the bottom, at least the bottom from the door. We do some glue over here and we're going to fill it in over here, and this one. And of course, like I told you, you can use this door for more seasons than only one. Of course, most of my pieces I paint already a couple of times, but if you don't like I told you earlier, the 4th of July, you can change it up any way you like. So again, I'm going to squeeze them and I'm going to clean up the tops, and I'm going to do the back side. So now we're taking 2 of our planks over here and we're going to do some glue on this side over here, just a small line, place it down, and we do here the same, some glue, place it down, and we place this one in between over here and fill it in with this one. And now we're going to squeeze it lightly, not with a lot of power, but but at least give it a little bit of pressure. If you have a small brush like this, you see, I'm going to go make it a little bit wet, and I'm going to go around so the glue is not coming out too much. So again, give it lightly a pressure, and then we're going to turn it. Always feel with your fingers that you have it nicely and then glued together this way. Now we're going to do some glue on the underline of one of the other one of the 3 over here, and you're going to place it over here, and you do this one over here, and you place it on the other side, and again give it some pressure, feel with your fingers, and do here the same. And now we're going to let it dry in for at least maybe 10 minutes. So in the meantime, while this piece is drying, we have now 2 rows of 6. So 2 rows of 6, we're going to do again some glue on the top line. We do some over here and we row them very easy together. And number 5, and of course number 6 is the closure up. And we do row number 2. And this will be the sides of the door. And again, you're going to squeeze them first a little, and later you go back to make sure that everything is sticking in one straight line. And you can easily feel it with your fingers, then press together. You do here, make sure that everything is sticking nicely over here, and press it together. And we're going to wipe away the glue first on the top, and then we're going to wait a couple of at least a minute, and then we can turn it around to do the back side. So now we have our door over here. What we're going to do, we do very gently a little line of glue on the underside of the wider side of the block, but you see already what I'm doing. So if my English is not what you what you think, then of course you see what I'm doing. So you see I have a little piece over, and that piece I'm going to saw out with my jigsaw, but you can do it with a handsaw. You can do it with a little piece of a sanding tool, but of course also with some, yeah, I think a sanding tool, because this is just a little piece, and maybe I don't even going to put it away. So we will see what I'm going to do with it. So again, we place this one on this side. But maybe you are lucky and your blocks are the size. I think most of the blocks I use are the same sizes that you have. And of course, my sizes of the bigger and the smaller blocks are always in the description box below. So you can always find my size of the blocks. So we're going to push it together over here, and we're going to let this dry in for at least a half hour. So in the meantime, while my base of the door is drying, we are going to make the stand where you can stand on, because then you can place it anywhere you like. I have here 4 rows of 5. So 4 rows of 5 blocks, you lay them again flat on the table, and you're going to do the smallest line again and make a little, little rows of 5. And again, this way, I do try to do it as fast as I can. And this number 3. And this is a very easy stand. You can make it as crazy as you like. Maybe you like a different kind of stand. So you can use anything you like. You don't have to use the tumbling towel blocks if you like more another base where you can stand it on. So you don't have to do the same like I do. So squeeze it, and over here, and I'm going to clean it up and do the back side also. So I give it a couple of minutes, and I'm going to turn them this way. We're going to do some glue on the side, over here, and over here. Roll them together, and the last, over here and this way. And we're going to squeeze it together and fill in the open gaps as much as we can. And if you have too bigger of open gaps and you don't like it, just fill it in with some wood filler or some, you call it speckle if I'm correctly, but at least fill it in if you don't like it. I like a little bit of the rustic look, that it is not completely perfect, but that's not everyone's cup of tea. So I'm going to let this dry in also for at least now a half hour. So in the meantime, while my plank is drying, we have 2 sets of 2 and we have 2 sets of 4. So we're going to do some glue on the tops, roll it together, do some glue on the tops and roll it together. We do here the same, only this is a row of 4 and this one. And now the last, and over here. And this one, and then you're going to squeeze them together over here, and the pieces of 2, and we're going to clean it up and let it dry in for a couple of minutes. So now we have our plank, we have our 2 rows of 4 and our 2 rows of 2. So we are going to do some glue on this side, over here, and of course on this side. Place it down. We do 1 on this side and we place 1 on this side and just give it a little bit of pressure on the underside. Over here and over here, press it together. And what we're going to do with this one is only on the side, and over here you just make a kind of a wide U. So this way, place it over here. You do here the same. And even when it falls apart, because this is still not totally dry, you just glue it together again, because wood glue is very forgiving. So again, we're going to press it together and we're going to let it rest for at least also half hour. So now I have here my door, and of course I took out my popsicle sticks and of course my dowels, and I have this one in different sizes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to look for which one I like the best. So I'm going to look for, I think I'm going to go for the round, because you can easily cut them in pieces and just place them over here. So I'm going to make a little line with my marker, and I hope that I have it over here, that it will work. I have to look for this way, and it will cut, and maybe I'm lucky that it does not really fit. It has to only a little piece. So this way, and now you see he is fitting nicely. What you can do of course a little pieces. You just, this is pieces of scrap, because I used already a little piece of it. So I'm going to make a little mark over here, and I'm going to cut it this way, and I'm going to look for if this is fitting nicely or not. So a little bit this way to the side, and you don't have to make a cross. You don't, you also can do one on this side, so you don't have to make the pattern I'm making. So I'm looking for if I like this or not. So then I'm going to look for this side, and I'm going to try to cut it off over here, and then I hope that it is looking nice, but we will see. But also the popsicle sticks are an option you can do, and place it over here and this way, and so you have a nice cross in the middle, and it is so easy to make. Of course I'm going to make also one for over here. So you see, now I have both of my pieces with a cross, and I did here the longest line this way, and I did here the longest dowel on this way, so you get a little bit of texture inside. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place this one so aside, because I know this is glued nicely together, fits nicely together. I'm doing some glue on the inside and over here, and I'm just going to place my piece and turn it around a little, so on each piece is coming a little bit of glue. So now we're going to do some glue on this side, in this corner, and in this corner. And you can do, of course, use some hot glue. Of course, and do it on this side also. Fit it in and make sure that we have it over here. And now we do this side also over here, and I do a little on here to fit it inside of here. And now I'm going to move it a little so the cross is nicely fitting. So this one needs to go over here, and this one needs to go over here. And I'm really looking forward, because this is the way this is fitting the nice. So just make sure that you don't turn it or something else, because you made it fitting this way. So I'm going to turn it and make sure that all the pieces, I have a little bit of glue. Then I'm going to do this corner, and I do a little bit on here. So I'm going to place it over here and place this one over here. I do here the same, some in the corner and at the ending. And I'm going to place it over here, and I'm going to press it together, because it has to fit. It did fit earlier, so it has to fit right now. At least that's what I think. So I'm going to keep it in place for a little moment and let it dry in for at least a half hour, and then we're going to paint it. So in the meantime, while my door is drying, because the dowels need to dry before we're going to paint it, I'm going to do the bottom, and I'm going to do it in the dark blue. You see it already, this color. And I have here a wooden round, and he is 10 centimeters, and in inches it is 4 inches, so 4 inches of 10 centimeters, and I have just a thin piece of wood, but you also can use a piece of cardboard for it, so you don't have to use this one. And both of them I'm going to paint in the blue color. So in the meantime, while my round and my bottom is drying, I have 4 loose blocks. This will be kind of like a little sign tag later. So I'm going to do some glue on this side and on the top side. Place it together. I do here the same, some glue on this side and on the top side. And I'm going to place it over here. And now the only thing is this one needs to fill in. And now I have a 4-piece like this, and I have an easy little blank which can be for some sign. Of course, turn it over, do also the back sides, and then you go back to make sure that you have a straight line and everything is fitting nicely together. We're going to let this dry and we're going to paint this one in the red color. So before I'm going to do my door in the red and I'm going to do this piece in the red, I have here 4 half wooden beads, and they are only small because I'm going to do them on the bottom on each corner. I make them white to let the white come back also in the bottom, or else that's just my thing. Everything needs to come back, so that's just a tick of me, so don't worry about it. So I'm going to do this 4 in the white color. So you see, now we only need to paint these 2 pieces in the red color, and I'm going to take my time for it. I use the bright color red, so I'm going to take my time just to fill in everything nicely because I want to give it a nice texture. So I totally did forget to put on my camera. Of course, you see already I have a piece of paper kitchen towel which where I place my stand on. I have already 3 of my wooden half wooden rounds on top, but like I told you earlier, you can use some piece of cardboard. You don't have to use the half wooden round. And again, press it down and go back and take a small brush and go around and wipe away the glue if there is glue sticking out. So now we have our little red sign, at least I call it a little sign. I have here my wooden letters USA, and of course you can glue anything on top. You can use some sticker letters. I'm going to look for where I want to have them. So just place them on top of here. Maybe a little side, if you can do it this way and do it this way. You can just do them straight. You can choose anything you like. So I'm going to glue this on top of here with some wood glue, because it's easy to glue. And again, I'm just do a little bit on the back side and place it down. I'm not going to press it yet because first I want to be sure that I have them on the place that I want to have them. And now the letter A and a little glue over here and place it down. So I'm going to look for which shape I like the best, and then I'm going to press it down and wipe away the glue with my small brush. So now I have my letters on top, and of course you see it backwards, don't worry. I'm going to glue this halfway on my round. So just do a little bit of glue in the middle, and you're just going to place it in the half and just press it down and let it dry in for a little moment. So you see already on my table I have a piece of my boxwood garland, and I always buy garlands because you can easily rip them apart and they are much cheaper if you buy them in garlands. I have took out 4 of my pieces and I did the back side. I cut off this until the leaves because I don't want to see a piece of plastic. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my sign over here. I'm going to do a little bit of glue at the ending of the top, and I place it exactly a little bit sideways over here and place it down. I do here the same on this one. At the ending, do a little bit of hot glue, and again you do this in the opposite direction. Place it down again and keep it in place for a little moment until it is dried in. You do on the underside the same. Do a little glue over here and you place it sideways over here, and this one the same. And I use some boxwood, but you can choose, of course, any greenery you like. You don't have to do this greenery if you don't like it. So we're going to let it dry in. Now I took a piece of other greenery. This is from a plant from IKEA. And you see already, I ripped it apart. This is just a bigger plant. I think there are 9 or 10 pieces coming off. I always buy a plant and I rip it apart because this is also nice just to place in a display for a tea tray or maybe another tray. In a little dresser you can easily, and you always have a pop of greenery coming out, and I am really liking that. So I'm going to take out a little piece of the greenery this way. And I'm just going to do some glue. Maybe I need to have it a little bit shorter. I'm looking for, if I'm going to place it on the top, I think it's a little bit too high for me. So I'm going to cut off a little piece this way. And I'm going to do a little dot of glue on the ending. And most of the time I'm always just try something and just squeeze it in and let it dry in for a little moment. Press it down over here, and I'm going to do on the underside the same. Just pull off a little piece and just cut it off. Of course, don't cut in your fingers. I did it already many times, so I can not say that it is really fun to have, so be careful. And I'm going to cut off this piece also. And I'm going to make a little ending out of it so I can easily squeeze it in. I'm just doing some glue over here. And I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do it on the underside also over here, and just squeeze it in and keep it in place for a little moment until it is dried up. And for me, that is already more than enough for a little wreath, but you can decorate it any way you like. So of course I need to get out my fingers. So I'm really happy how this is looking like. Of course, this is already popping out, so I need a little bit of glue extra. And I'm just going to squeeze it in this way. And you see, I am really happy how this is looking like, and I'm going to glue it on the door. So now I have here my door, and of course I'm going to do some glue, some hot glue, a little bit of a lot, but at least enough just to make sure that everything will glue on top of here. So this way, and I'm going to place this one a little sideways on top. And I have to look that I have it in the middle. And keep it in place and let it dry in. The only thing we need to do now is we need to glue the door on our stand, but that's really easy to do. So now I'm going to do some glue on the feet, and I didn't cut mine off because I think I like a little bit that it's a little higher, but it's a little bit trickier to glue. So if you don't want to do it, just saw off this ending a little bit, but I'm just going to keep it because I want to have some greenery around here. So I'm going to do some glue. You can use some hot glue. I use my wood glue over here and over here. And then the only thing I need to do is, of course, place it in the middle over here. And then our door is finished. And you see in a moment a quick impression. And here you see finally a quick impression of my Tumbling Tile Blocks farm door for the 4th of July. And of course, I'm really happy how this one turned out. I left out a knob and some hangers because I don't like it. But if you want to decorate it any way you like. Everyone who is new here, I hope you enjoy what you saw. And if you do, I hope you will click the red subscribe button, give it a thumbs up and hit the bell so you will be notified every time we upload new DIYs. Everyone have an amazing day and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.